Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today I thought we'd take a look. Ooh, if I can pick it up. I thought we would take a look at this and this, because I've got two of them. What we've got here are the old Acorn A3000s. Now, back many years ago when I was at secondary school, this was the computer that basically I think most secondary schools used. I know some had PCs and some had Apple Macs and stuff, but your average state comprehensive school, usually you'd find a room full of these somewhere in the building. I've had these for a very long time. I picked these up probably in the very late 90s, possibly in the very early 2000s, and they were literally a couple of quid each, or 3 or 4 quid each, or something like that back then. One actually did come from a local school that's literally around the corner from me. I think the caretaker was clearing the storage cupboard out because he had just a pile of stuff. I think it all come out of the school and it was all being just basically sold for get rid of kind of money. I know one of these came from there. I cannot 100% remember where the other one came from, but it was probably something, a very similar scenario. I picked it up off a car boot sale or something like that. The reason why I pulled these out, these haven't been touched for, I'd say the shortest period would be 10 years. I'm pretty sure it's a lot longer than that. It's more like 15 years since I last actually had these these out and had a play around with them. Now, I'm pretty sure back then I actually took the backup batteries out of them, but I am not 100% sure that I removed the backup batteries from them. So that's one thing that we need to have a look at in this video, because and I'm blaming GadgetUK for this because I've been watching his videos on A3010, or a couple of A3010s that he's been working on that had absolutely horrific battery corrosion damage in them. And I'm really hoping these aren't quite as bad. I'm not sure about that one, but I know for a fact that this one did used to work because I had this set up at one point. This one, I can't honestly remember whether I've ever powered it up or whether I did, whether it didn't work or what have you. But again, that's what we're planning to do in this video, to find out, you know, do these work, don't they work, and how much actual work's going to be put in to actually make them, you know, a usable computer again. I am really hoping I did take those batteries out. Anyway, we'll start with one. In fact, we'll start with that one, because this is the one that I'm not as sure about. So I'm pretty sure that the other one did actually work, and I think one of these actually has got a hard disk upgrade in it. I know one of them did. We'll start with this one, and it's in your pretty standard condition that a school computer would be. I'm pretty certain this one was the one that came from a primary school, or at least they may have both come from primary schools. Reason being, if you look at the keycaps, it's had these caps stuck on there with both the upper and the lower case letters on them, and that's pretty indicative that it's come from, you know, a lower school, you know, like pre-high school kind of school. Apart from that, it's not in horrendous condition. We've got a bit of where obviously the sticker's been there. We've got a pat test sticker there, and we've got a security code etched into the computer there. But apart from that, and you've got those various bits of pen mark and ink and the type of thing you'd expect to find on a computer which has come from a school. Now, you'd expect me just to plug this in and see if it does anything. I'm not going to do that because, like I said, I'm not sure whether we've got any battery corrosion in here or not. So first thing I'm going to do is crack into this thing. And actually, depending on what we find, depends on whether we just look at this computer in this video or we get on to the second one. I weren't really planning to do any repair work in this video. It's more, I want to see what state these are in. Let's have a quick look where the screws are. Actually, this doesn't look like it's got a... I don't know. Oh, it's got the screws in at the back. So let's take these out, and then at least we can get inside it. And it uses these weird little kind of locks to hold the case together. I'm going to take them out of the way. And I think this is a very, very long time since I've played about with one of these. I think the case just opens up now. Oh yeah, we have to push in, where we've just taken those two things out. There we go. So far so good, this isn't looking too terrible. There we go, that's off. Let's get that round so you can have a good look at it. Right, now I believe the battery is under the floppy drive on these. First having a quick look at it, I can't see anything that looks horrendous. I can't actually see any, you know, battery corrosion spilling out or anywhere. So I am hopeful this might be, you know, I might have actually taken the batteries out, although I've just seen a horrible amount of corrosion on the bottom of the keyboard. Let me just tilt you over so you can see it. There. That doesn't bode well. Let's get the keyboard out and we'll have a quick look what that's all about. In fact, let me get my anti-static in. We're actually poking around inside it. Now those are not wanting to come out either. We're going to have to be super careful here. That's one out. Ooh. You've got to be so careful because if we damage these membranes, I don't think they are available. So we'd be pretty stuffed. There we go. Oh, that was really, really, really stiff. Now let's lift the keyboard out. We've got some corrosion there, but I don't think that, I think that's savable. I don't think that's going to be too much of a concern. I don't even know where that's come from. I probably had it on there before I actually got the computers, to be honest, because God knows where these were stored. Like I said, if I know for a fact one of these definitely came from a primary school, and it probably spent a number of years, you know, sat in a damp garage or storage shed or something like that. We'll put the keyboard off to one side. And yes, thank God I did. It's not over there, it's over near the mouse connection actually on these. And thank God, yeah, I did actually take the battery backup out of it. That would have been there. And it looks like I did it before we actually had any corrosion damage. I can't see any corrosion damage around here at all, which is excellent news. That is really, really good news. In fact, I can't see any reason, a quick look under there, why I can't power this one up and see if it's actually going to do something. Yeah. This is completely unexpanded as well. We've got, I think it's a meg of RAM on board there. And I believe these here are where you put a memory expansion module, which obviously I don't have, so this has only got 1 MB of RAM in it. But apart from that, the board does look in really nice condition. I'm really pleased with that, because like I said, I thought I'd taken the batteries out, but I weren't 100% sure, because it's that long since I've actually messed with these things. So I suppose what we could do is we've got my little monitor here, and this thing does give a mono composite output, so we should be able to get some video up on that screen. It'd be nice if I suppose what I should do as well is find a mouse so if it does indeed work, we can at least see, you know, exactly what is and what isn't working on it. I tell you what I'll do then. Also, we could do with the keyboard back in. I'll just spend a couple of minutes. I'll reinstall the keyboard because we have no backup battery. We're not going to be able to get it to boot into RISC OS without holding some keys down. And actually, I can't even remember what keys we have to hold down to do that. So I will have a quick look up what we need to do there. I will reconnect this, and I'll go and find a mouse, and we can actually see whether this computer is going to indeed fire up and work or not. So I'll just get that sorted, and we'll be back in a sec. Right, okay, we are back, and I managed to get that back in, and that is a swine on these. That is absolutely horrible to get in. But I managed to get that seated back in. Hopefully I haven't damaged anything, and I managed to find my Acorn mouse. Now, these things are like, you know, hen's teeth. These are really hard to get, and when you do, like, they come up available on eBay and whatever, they're usually an incredibly stupid amount of money for what, basically just a 3-button mouse. I actually only have this one in working order. I do have another one somewhere that I picked up cheap on eBay, and the reason that I picked it up cheap is apparently it kills Acorns. You plug it into a fully working A3000 and it kills the computer. Again, I bought it very, very cheap for that reason. Obviously we're going to have a go at getting that working at some point. But it's going to take a little bit of investigation and what have you, because mice shouldn't be killing computers. In fact, that's still boxed up somewhere. I've not actually even unboxed it yet. You know, let's get this plugged in. And a bit like the Atari ST, as in the mouse port is actually on the bottom of the computer, in the most awkward place to possibly get to. We will persevere, and we will get this plugged in there. At least I hope we will. Which way around do you go? It's that way around. Ah, there we go. That's it, that's in. Right, so we've got an input device. Right, and we will connect it up to my little monitor here, because that's all we'll need for testing. We've got a mono video output composite there on the back. We'll get the monitor plugged in, switched on. Now, we're not actually going to run any software on this today, for the simple fact I don't have any. I think I've got one software disk for the Acorn. Oh, and I've just noticed something. It ain't going to work at the moment because we've got a fuse missing out of the plug. I didn't realise that. In fact, shall I just pinch it out of the other one for now? Yes, I think I can just pinch it out of the other plug. That's even still got its little plastic thing in. That could mean that this computer is dead, but I don't think so. I think that's probably just been pinched over the years. Right. So we'll put that in the plug. There we go. We've got a fuse in there now. I'll get that plugged in. Oh. Oh. So we must be switched on. Let's switch off. We're getting something, but we're not getting a synced signal or anything, but we're definitely getting some form of display. I don't know why we're not getting anything that's... I'll tell you what we can try and do. I'll switch off. We'll hold down delete, and that should basically clear the computer and do like a hard reset. So we'll hold down delete, switch on. There we go. And it works. Awesome. We get you on the screen so you can see. I don't know how well you can make that out, but yeah, I mean the picture isn't brilliant or anything, but I can actually see. And we have a functioning mouse. Brilliant. It's a long time since I've played one of these, so I am struggling a little bit to remember what to do. But and we've just dropped down to basic there. I think that's basic in these. You can't do anything, can you? Let's file name. Alright. We need some software really to go any further with this one, but we have pretty much proved. Let's try and switch it back off and on. Yeah, we have pretty much proved that basically this one works. So we can't really test the floppy drive at the moment because I don't have any software to run on it. But the computer itself seems to function. But this is, like I said, this is pretty much as basic as you can get for an A3000. We only have the base memory in it. There's no real expansion in it at all. I don't actually even think the RS232. Yeah, no, the RS232 and even the Ethernet and things like that I don't think are populated on this, because I can see IC sockets down there which aren't being used. But like I said, we do have a functioning A3000 with this one. So what I'll do, I'll quickly pause the video. I'll get this one button back together and we'll pull the other one out. And we'll see if we've got a 2 for 2 and the other one's in the same condition. So I have a feeling that the other one might actually have some upgrades in it. I think it's got a hard drive in it. And I also think it might have some extra RAM on board as well. It's got a memory expansion, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. I also seem to remember that I actually had 3 of these, not 2 of them. But your memories get hazy in the times. I do know I also have an Acorn A3000, which was kind of like the last of the line, big box with a CD-ROM drive and things in it. That was working last time I used it. In fact, that's the most recent of the Acorns I've actually had powered up and using. And I think we might actually be able to probably pinch some software that's stored on its hard drive. I think there's some stuff on there, perhaps some games or something we can put on a floppy and perhaps try in these A3000s. So anyway, like I said, I'll get the video paused, I'll get this one buttoned up and out of the way, and we can take a look at the second A3000. So back in a sec. Right, okay, that one's all buttoned back up, so let's get the other one out. Now, this one, again, on the back we've got Ethernet not fitted, serial upgrade not fitted, but it does have the ports there. But we have this Castle technology, and I believe this is a like an expansion. I believe they call them podules or something like that on these. But we do seem to have some kind of expansion in this. We're also missing the little locks that hold the case down, so we can get in this one a little bit easier. We just press in, I think, and lift up. There we go, that's that one released, and that one. Let's see what we find in here. Keep our fingers crossed that I took the battery out of this one and this one's in as good a condition. Ooh, let's turn you round. Right. Now it is fairly dusty, but apart from that, actually, you know, appearance wise, it actually looks slightly better than the other one. It's got about the same amount of yellowing on it, but we don't have all the stickers on all the keys. We don't have stickers up here, and actually looking at it, we don't seem to have like an asset number etched into the case like we did on the previous one. Let's get this very gently, get this top off. You have some little plastic tabs at the front here, and if you're not careful, like with a lot of these old computers, the plastic is starting to get very brittle now. And in fact, I think one might be already broken off on. Yeah, there's one missing there anyway. That one seems to have already been broken off previous. So I will be super careful trying to get this out. think we're... Now, do we need to perhaps... Why is that not popping out like it should do? Ah, there we go. Just use a screwdriver to help them out. Yeah, and unfortunately, so that is the nicer top, but it's also missing one of those little clips off it there. And we do indeed have expansion in this one. Quite a lot of expansion by the look of it. We've got a hard disk here. It seems to be missing its ribbon cable that connects it up. We also have a RAM expansion here with what looks like a 72-pin SIM in it. Also don't seem to have any corrosion on the keyboard, which is nice. What I want to see though is, do we have any damage? Did I take the battery out of this one as well? I really hope I did. Let's see if we can take the keyboard out. Ooh, yes. Let's and that actually came out easier than on the other one as well. Yeah, lovely. That keyboard does seem to be in somewhat better condition. The other one isn't terrible. It's just got a little bit of corrosion down here. Obviously we'll have to make sure all the keys and everything work on it. We'll take that out of the way for the moment. And lovely. Yes, I took the battery out. Thank God for that. Now I do see a tiny little bit of... let me put my anti-static on again, seeing we're fiddling about inside this thing. Have a quick slurp of coffee before I go any further. Lovely. Right, we do seem to have a tiny little bit of corrosion down here, but it doesn't actually look horrendous. I think it was caught fairly early. Actually looks like that battery's been desoldered rather than snipped off as well. But we do have a little bit of corrosion around them ICs, around these coils here. Possibly it might have even got into the mouse port. Now fortunately I do actually have a couple of brand new spare Acorn mouse ports, so if that is indeed the case, we could at least change that. So, and then we have this very interesting looking hard disk controller there, and this very interesting looking memory expansion there, which, like I said, indeed plugs into that line of pins that I showed in the previous A3000 we've just looked at. Now I wonder why there is no cable to connect up the hard disk. I must have borrowed that for something, or at least someone. Yeah, I kind of vaguely in the back of my mind remember this actually operating with the hard drive. So, but that's a very long time ago. So I'm guessing I desperately needed a little 2.5 inch hard drive cable for something. I wonder. The likelihood of that hard drive actually functioning as well is probably quite low. We can pop that out and have a quick look what we've got. I mean, you never know, that hard drive might still function. And if it does, there's a chance we've got some software on there we might be able to play about with as well, which would be quite nice. Right, that's free at the back there, so we just need to pull it off its, if it will. Let's get in there and gently. Ooh, that's not wanting to come up. We can perhaps prise somewhere. There obviously wasn't really a whole amount of room in here because they've had to actually bend the power connectors, the 5 volts there, to be able to squeeze this little unit in here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the board connected to the Acorn, and there's some little plastic screws here. If I undo them, I should be able to take the hard drive out and we can at least have a quick look, see what we've got. Curious to see what size it is, to be honest. Right, let's lift that out. Right, and we've got a IBM 172 megabyte 2.5 inch IDE, sorry 3.5, no it's 2.5 inch that, isn't it? IDE hard drive. I'm not sure how well those have fared up over the years, but we'll hopefully be able to get that that up and running. I've lost a couple of little spacers down there that I need to pick out. That one. Come on, up you go. Okay, I can see a little bit of corrosion even back here. There's that socket which I think is to do with the serial port. That has got a little bit of corrosion on it. I can't see any otherwise, but we do have a little bit of corrosion on this board compared with the other. But now we've got that hard drive out, let's see if we can get this this controller out. It's coming. Oh boy, that's stiff in there. That is really, really, really stiff in there. And it does appear like the board isn't actually held down in this one. Oh, there we go. Oh, I managed to get it out without bending any pins as well. So that's the what we've got on the thing, the Castle Technology. That is our hard drive board there. So that's our hard drive controller. There doesn't seem to be a great deal on there, to be honest. Got some glue logic. I think that's probably what's doing all the heavy lifting, that chip there. But apart from that, the board actually, now I've got that out, actually looks in fairly good condition. There's a capacitor there, I've just noticed, which isn't looking too happy. It looks like that might have been getting hot because the plastic surrounding it's actually shrunk back, which is a sign that that was possibly getting hot at some point. Everything else in here looks reasonable. So we have had a little bit of corrosion, but it doesn't look absolutely terrible, to be honest. I'm wondering whether we can perhaps give this a try. That came out that way. That came off there like that, didn't it? Let's put that back just to make sure that this is... yeah, that goes in there. You daft sod, it goes in that way, doesn't it? You know it goes in that way because you couldn't see. They took it out to see what it was. Right, let's put this back together. Now, I'm guessing there's a reason why they used plastic screws and insulators here. I'm guessing they don't want that touching the actual hard drive. Let's see if we can get that one in first. At least start it off first. Okay. Got them both lined up. Yep, they're in the right place. Let's screw those down. Okay, there we go. So that's obviously as it would have came. That's your hard drive upgrade. So we can get this to line up and go back in. Yeah, there we go. Now it is missing one screw that holds that in, so I'll just put the one we've got in, and that's not a big problem. I can easily find a screw to fit that. It's just a, basically it's just a self-tapper. What we'll do, we'll fire it up as it is, and then I might go and see if I can find a 2.5-inch hard drive IDE cable, and we can see whether that hard drive is going to do anything for us. Obviously we'll have to swap that back between this one and that one. Put the mouse into it. And we're going to have to look at perhaps making an RGB cable up for this so we can plug it into a colour monitor, because it's not much fun just in mono on one of these when they're you know, a good colour computer. Yeah, that's plugged in. Hopefully that mouse port's going to work, because there does seem to be, like I said, a little bit of corrosion around there, but it's certainly not like what poor Gadget was dealing with on them A3000s. Right, we'll plug that in there. We're going to have to put the keyboard back on as well, or else we're not going to be able to get it to boot. Now, I'm hoping this is going to be a little bit easier. It certainly came out easier than it did on the other one. I do see again a tiny little bit of corrosion in that keyboard connector on the main board, so this one is definitely going to need a little bit of working on. Just need to do a bit of corrosion cleanup. At least I'm hoping that's all we're going to have to do. We may have to go in there and do some rework. That's not going in as easy as it came out. Oops, and yeah, everything's loose in this one. It looks like there's no actual screws holding it together. I don't remember desoldering that battery. Usually when I'm just doing it for preventative work, I just snip them off, but looks like I might have been in here and actually desoldered it. Right, so we've got the keyboard plugged back in. That should be everything we need to get this thing to power up. Let's set the keyboard back where it should actually go. And I'll get you up on screen so you can actually see the screen as well as the the screen as well as the computer. There we go, that's better, isn't it? You can see the screen again now. Got the mouse there. Let's make sure we're switched off. Yes, we're switched off. We've got the plug back in. And we'll switch the screen back on. And what we do is we hit delete and switch on. Let's have a look. Well, that's doing exactly what the other one did, isn't it? Let's try that again. Is it going to boot? No. So it does look like we may have some issue with this one. Let's try that one more time. It's trying to boot, obviously, because we're actually getting we're getting somewhere. Let's see if it's going to boot. Acorn DFS, yes. So it was being a little bit awkward there, but it has actually come up. I think this has actually got a slightly higher version of RISC OS on it than the one we've just looked at. Yeah, because we've got apps down there. This is what I remember from. Let me get you zoomed in a little bit so you can see what's more what's going on screen. Ooh. And that was my. There we go. You can see that now, can't you? It's a little bit off. Just twist that. There we go. You can see that a little bit better. Right. Come on, get into focus. There we go. So what have we got on here? Configure, characters, help, paint, edit, draw. I used to absolutely love draw when I was at school. I think it was one of the nicest little drawing packages anyone ever came up with, and it was just built into the computer. We've got it loaded down there. Let's, there we go. So I always really used to like using draw. It was just so simple to use, and it was not bad at all. But yeah, that works. So this thing is actually fully functional by the look of it. Where's quit? As you can tell, I'm very flaky with this about what you actually do to operate it. Or is it that one? Yeah, discard. And obviously we need a bigger screen to actually really be able to see what we're doing. And the camera doesn't seem to like that screen. But yeah, we've actually got two A3000s which basically work. Obviously this one's going to need the more work on it by the simple fact it's got that little bit of corrosion in there. But this is also the nicer, more expanded system. What I'll do is I'll quickly pause and I'll see if I can find. I can't promise anything because I'm not absolutely 100% sure where I've got one. But I'll just quickly see if I can find a 2.5-inch ID hard drive cable, and we can have a look, see if we can actually just fire that hard drive up and indeed see if it's going to do anything. I'm not got high hopes because there's probably a very good chance that hard drive's dead just due to old age. But it's worth a quick try before we finish this video. So back in a sec. Right, okay, we're back, and after nearly an hour's ceaseless searching, unfortunately all I can find is that one, which isn't going to work for us. This is one for an Amiga, and unfortunately it's too short. It has to go on like that, and there isn't enough room to curve it round. And to be honest, I don't want to pull the hard drive all back out and having it balanced in some ungainly way here just to try that. What I'll do is I will actually order one about that long, about probably double the length of that one, because we're going to have to go back in this computer anyway. It has got that little bit of corrosion on the board, and I want to deal with that. So we'll do another video actually on this Amiga, on this A3000. I nearly called it an Amiga then. On this Acorn A3000, and actually, like I said, we'll do that little bit of preventive maintenance. I might even look about putting a replacement CMOS battery into it. Obviously something safe that's not going to leak, because we don't want corrosion issues with this thing, because once we've sorted them little bits out, it's not too bad. Like I said, the other one's in really nice condition, but this is the nicer of the computer from my concerns. Like I said, it's got the memory upgrade in it. I think it's got a slightly later ROM set in it with a slightly later version of RISC OS, and obviously it's got the hard drive and everything in there. What I did find, however, while I was rummaging around, was an Acorn disc. Now I don't know whether this works or not, but what we've got is Dazzle, which I presume is some kind of paint program or something like that. Site licensed program disc, but it's definitely Acorn RISC OS. So before we just finish this video, let's have a go. I mean, it'll see if the disc works. We don't know if the floppy drive works, so it's one of them things, but let's give it a go anyway. I'll get you back up on the screen and zoomed in a little bit. There we go, you should be able to see that. Right, let's switch back on. We'll see if the computer's going to boot again. It's looking so far so good. Are you going to boot? Let's try doing the old just hold down delete as we power it up. No, is it not going to want to boot this time? There's a reset button on the side here as well. Let's try that. Give it one more try. I suppose we could always pull out the other one because we got that one to boot quite easily, didn't we? Well, let's see what it's going to do it this time. So obviously we have got some issues with this this system. There we go, that got it to boot. So this has got RISC-OS 3 on it from 1992, and looks like that's booting. So I'll take the disk, stick that in there. Drive empty. Hang on. I think we may have a gummed up drive. It is at least trying to turn the disc by the sound of it. Let's give it one more try. No, drive empty. So we could just have a bad drive there. I'll tell you what I'll do just really quickly, I'll pause the video, put this one away, I'll dig that other one out, the first one, and we'll just give this disc a quick try in there, just to see whether that might work or not. So back in a sec. Right, okay, we are back and we've got the first A3000 connector back up. So let's power this one back on. Alright, we'll have to do the old delete thing again. So hold down delete, switch on. There we go. You notice how that one fires up a lot quicker, because I think this is running an earlier version of RISC-OS. But we will put the Dazzle disk in. That again has got a very gummed up floppy disk, so I don't know whether this is going to do anything. But let's give it a quick try. Oh. Right, okay. That actually works. So we've got that floppy, or at least it reads. I can't say whether the floppy is actually completely good, whether we're going to be able to read all the data off it in the software load, but at least it shows that that floppy drive's basically working. And it does actually look like it may be trying to load the software. There. This did definitely come from a local school, because that's my local education department that it's licensed to. Right, it's come up, it's down there. Let's click on it. Right, so that works. That's cool. I'm not going to go into trying to do anything with this at the moment, because obviously this screen isn't really conducive for doing very much, but at least it showed us. Right, that's awesome. So we have at least one piece of software we can actually run on these, so at least we can test disk drives and things like that. And although the disk drive on this is a little on the a little bit on the a little bit on the gummed up side, it does function, so it's just going to need a basic clean and a service. And basically, I know it's a very basic one, so we've only got 1 megabyte of RAM in this. There's no other expansion in it. It doesn't have the serial populated. It doesn't have the Ethernet populated. But it is basically a working A3000. I think this one's going to need a lot less work on it to get it to something that's, you know, reliable and useful than the other one's going to need a little bit more work. But I'm going to probably leave it there for now. what I think I'll do is I'll order that 2.5-inch longer IDE cable, and we'll make another video on these, possibly not this one so much, although we might have a look at that, cleaning up that disk drive, but certainly doing some work on the other A3000, sorting a bit of that corrosion out. It's only very, very, very minor, but it still needs addressing, it needs neutralising and cleaning up. And we can actually see whether we can possibly get that hard drive to work, or at least if we can't get the hard drive to work, we can see if we can get the controller to work, and you know, put like an SSD solution or a disk on module or something like that in there to work with it. And obviously we're going to have to address the floppy drive in here, because that's obviously not very happy. Well, not in the, sorry, in the other A3000, because that one obviously is not happy at all. That's not even trying to read the disk. Well, it's spinning, but it's not doing much more than that. So obviously, like I said, that one's going to need a little bit more work than this one, which I think just needs a bit of a clean and a lube. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed this little video, watching me have a look at these A3000s, which have been slumbering for quite a number of years. Oh, and we'll also, if I can find it, we'll dig out that killer mouse that I've got, and hopefully we can get that working and do it without killing one of my two Acorns. But then at least it'll mean that both the Acorns actually do have a functioning mouse with them. So I'll say, hope you enjoyed that little video on these Acorn A3000s. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.